So in the chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we have 5 divisions, and we are in the last division of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And the last division of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is Arjuna's reason for not fighting. So Arjuna was almost ready to shoot his arrow, and suddenly Arjuna told Krishna, Senayor Ubayor Madhye Ratam Stapaya Me Achyuta. So because why did Arjuna want to see everybody around? Is that he was not aware that whom he is going to fight with? No, the reason was because he was giving up on fighting. He was not really willing to fight. So what are the 5 reasons which Arjuna is giving for not fighting? So the first reason is Kripaya Paraya Vishto. What did he say? Overcome by compassion. He was thinking that how can he cause pain to his own friends and relatives. So its compassion is feeling the other's pain. So he did not want to do this ghastly warfare, thinking that that will cause harm for others. And so compassion means you also feel the same thing. Whatever you feel, the other person is undergoing, you feel the same thing. And then the second reason for Arjuna for not fighting is
Loss of enjoyment.
He thought, even after I win the war, if I don't have my teacher, if I don't have my cousins, if I don't have my grandparents, basically I don't have my family, then what do I do? Where is the enjoyment? There is no enjoyment. Generally, Kshatriyas fight because of some outcome. But here, Arjuna is saying that there is no outcome. What word he used? Nimittani viparitani.
Vipiran.
So you're going for something, but what happens is exactly opposite. So even in the material world, we have seen that many times we are expecting something and we are endeavoring for this. And what is the result? The result is exactly opposite. We get disappointment by not everybody gets succeeded in whatever the endeavors we do. So here Arjuna is seeing everything in opposite. He doesn't see anything to be favorable. And then the next reason for Arjuna not to fight is fear of sinful actions. What did he think? If I'm killing my grandfather, if I'm killing my teacher, won't I incur sin? He is asking Krishna, you're called as Madhusudan. You're not called as Sandipana Sudan or Ugrasena Sudan. You're only the Madhusudan. You're the killer of demons. So how do you expect me, to kill my own grandparent and my own teachers and everyone? So you are Madhava. You're the husband of fortune and you create auspiciousness. In other sloka, he also says him as Janardana, one who gives welfare of every living entity. And how do you expect me to do something that will not cause good for others? So that was the second reason which Arjuna was citing out. And then the third reason which Arjuna was pointing out. And then the fourth reason for Arjuna not to fight is about destruction of the family tradition. So in the previous class, we saw elaborately what is called the family tradition. What are certain samskaras that are very important for the purification of the jivas. So only the elders are there to guide us to do the samskaras. So in the absence of elders, what happens? The youngsters, they are not aware of all these samskaras because today we have a culture of nuclear family even in India. So the children are not guided properly by the elders on how these purificatory ceremonies are very important. And what are the 10 important samskaras we saw in that? The first samskara is Garbhadhana samskara. So this samskara is performed even before the conception of the child in the womb. Both the husband and the wife, they undergo this Vedic ritual and they do the samskara in ISKCON. Generally, the devotees, they chant 50 rounds before they conceive the child. But other samskaras also, they follow certain Vedic rituals so that what they can do, they can attract divine souls, because the divine souls are waiting to get birth in this planet. So by doing such samskaras, you attract the divine souls. And then the second samskara is Simanta. This is for the welfare of the child and the mother. And then the third samskara is Namakarana. So the child is given the name. So the child is given an auspicious name as per the astrological chart, so that that particular name can give all auspiciousness to the child. And then the fourth samskara is, we have the Annaprastha samskara, where the child is given the first food. So it's usually the Vishnu Prasadam which is given to the child. So the child is introduced to the solid food. And then we have the Mundan samskara, and then where the child is undergoing the taking out the hairs from the child, shaving the child's hairs. And then we have Chuta Karna, where the child is pierced with the ears. And then we have the another important samskara for the beginning of the education of the child, which is called Vidyaramba. And then the child also undergoes Upanayana samskara. Basically, this is done by the three class of society, Brahmana, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. They undergo this Upanayana samskara, where they got a thread and where they get another birth through the spiritual master, and they follow the Gayatri. They are given Gayatri mantra, and they do the Gayatri mantra 3 times a day. And this Gayatri mantra is so powerful that it removes all the contamination that is accumulated during the day, during the evening, and everything. So this Gayatri is also very important. And then what other samskaras we saw it was important? How many samskaras did we cover?
8 till now.
Yeah.
8, Mataji.
8. And then we have
Vivaha
Anteshti.
samskara.
Vivaha samskara. Yeah, that is very important. The husband and wife, they take the O in front of the Agni and for their this thing. And then we have the Anteshti samskara. This is the last samskara which is performed for the soul, because there are some souls who may not be even having a credit to get a body in the next life. They may be in a very in a place where it is not even suitable for them. So by offering the food and water, that helps the departed soul. So these are the 10 samskaras which are very important. And Arjuna raises the concern, without the guidance of the elders in the family, what will happen to these family traditions? Okay, so today we will be seeing another important reason which Arjuna would be citing. It is mainly upon the women, about the pollution of the women. So we will recite the sloka. Please repeat after me. Adharma bhavat Krishna
Adharmabhibhavat Krishna
pradushyanti kulashriya
pradushyanti kulatstriya
Vishu drishta shuvashena
drishu dushtashu vashena
Jayate Varna Shankara
jayate varta sankara varna
Adharma Bhavat Krishna
Adharmabhivat Krishna
Pradushyanti Kulashriya
pradushyanti kulashriya
Trishu Drishta Shuvashena
shishu dushtavasu vasnena
Jayate Varna Shankara.
jayate varna sankara.
Would anybody like to do this sloka?
I'll try,
Anushka.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, please.
It might be mistake, but I will
No
try.
problem, please.
Adharmabhibavat Krishna
Adharma Bhavat Krishna
prashuyanti kulashriya
Pradushyanti Kulashriya
shrishu dushtasu vasneya
Trishu Drishta Shubhash
Mayor
Shreya
jayate varna sankara.
Jayate Varna Shankara.
Adharma, irreligion. Abhivat, abhibhavat, abhibhavat, having become predominant. Krishna, O Krishna. prashuyanti, become
Pradushyanti.
pradushyanti, become polluted. Kulashriya, family ladies. Shrishu, by the womanhood. Dustanshu, being so polluted. Vashneya, O descendant of
Vrishni.
Vrishni, Jayate, comes into being. Varna Sankara, unwanted progeny. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendants of Vrishni, becomes unwanted progeny. Purport by Prabhupada. Good pollution, sorry, good
Population.
population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. The
Varnashrama. Varnashrama.
Varnashrama religions principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandita, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So, the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus this chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the varnashrama system. On the failure of such varnashrama dharma, naturally the women becomes free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is uh, indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence.
Pestilence. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swamiti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So in this particular verse, particularly the chastity of the women is being mentioned. So how important for the society to have the chaste women. So what is mean by chastity? What do you call chastity as?
Being dedicated to one
Yeah, you're dedicated to one person in terms of your
relation.
body, mind,
Yeah.
everything. So that is what we think basically the chastity is, that a woman is just dedicated to one particular person. But here in our Vedic scriptures, the word chastity is much beyond just about having only one person in the mind and thoughts, and it has much more to do. So I will just share some notes on this, on what the chastity is actually mean. So some people may think, is chastity is important only for women, or is it there for both men and women?
For both men and
Because
women.
if there is an illicit relation, it is just not the women, right? There are men and women, there are both of them involved in it. So not that our scriptures are double stranded and just say that only the women should be chaste, but there is some kind of self control which is given for both men and women. It is not that only the women should be chaste and men can do whatever they want. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5 and Text 2, so Rishabhadev is advising his sons on how to lead a human form of life. So in that, he is talking particularly about how a man or a general population should conduct themselves. Mahat sevam dvavaram ahur vimuktes. So how a human being should serve Mahat Sevam. A human being should serve the Mahatmas. So when a human being is serving the Mahatmas, Dwaram Ahur Vimuktes, where does he go? He goes in the path of the door of liberation is open to the humans who are serving the Mahatmas, Mahat Sevam. Tamodvaram. Now the door of hell is open to whom? Yoshitam Sangi Sangam. One who is not just about having illicit relation with other women, but even if one is having the association of with such person who is having illicit relation with other person, even they are opening their door towards the hell. Tamodvaram Yoshitam. So for them, the hellish door is being open. Mahantasta says Samachitta Prasanta Vimantyat Sukritat Sadavoyete. So it is very important for a human being to get associated with the Mahatmas. Who are Mahatmas? Whom do we call as Mahatmas?
What about you?
Yeah,
The
but
spiritually uplifted.
there is a particular verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna has spoken about the qualities of Mahatma. He says, Mahatmanastu Mampartha. So, Mahatmas he has given. In this description, Mahatma is clearly given. The first sign of Mahatma is that he is already situated in the divine nature. He is not under the control of material nature. And how is this affected? This is explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, at once becomes freed from the control of material nature. That is the qualification. So one can become free from the control of material nature as soon as one surrenders to the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. So who is a Mahatma is the one who is a surrendered soul. So one has to get association with such person, not with the association of those people who are already polluted. So this verse gives us not just about being pure by yourself and also not to take the association of those people who are not pure. Okay. So with this, is it clear that this chastity is not just for women, it is for everyone? And Rishabhadev here, he's giving instruction to his 100 sons. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but the way of sense control for men and women are little different according to the Shastras. It is there is a sense control given, but it is not in the same way. So for men, Prabhupada has given in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is best to remain alone as a brahmachari, sannyasi or vanaprastha and cultivate Krishna consciousness throughout one's whole life. Those who are unable to remain alone or given license to live in the household life with wife and children, not for sense gratification, but for cultivation of Krishna consciousness. So men are generally allowed to live alone because men has a power to control the senses. And if there are some men who feels that it is difficult for them to control their senses, then they can enter the Grahastha ashram. But that ashram is what? For cultivation of Krishna consciousness, not for sense gratification. In the previous class, we saw one word. What is the other word? The one who is not leading the the life of the householder according to the scriptures. Who is he called as?
Grahamedi.
Grahamedi. If one is leading the household life without the guidance of the scripture is called the Grahamedi. So a Grahastha leads the life as per the scriptural injunctions given. So, however, the sense control for the women is little different. Devahuti, as soon as her son grew up, her husband left home. So Devahuti is the wife of Kardama Muni. So her pastime, this pastimes appears in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Devahuti is the daughter of the Swayambhuva Manu. And being the daughter of the Swayambhuva Manu, she was leading a very affluent life. Swayambhuva Manu lives in a skyscraper. So such an affluent upbringing she had, but she got married to whom? Kardama Muni. And he is a simple sage, and he was himself involved in so much of austerity. So Devahuti was very chaste that in spite of her affluent upbringing, she was serving her husband day and night. And she was taking care of him in such a way that she could not even take any care of herself. Her hairs, her body, and everything were turning pale. And but she was so chaste that she was serving the Kardama Muni. And Kardama Muni had he already had a condition. He said, Swayambhuva Manu, that he could marry Devahuti only on one condition, that after Devahuti has the child and when the son grows up, he will leave the home and he will go for his tapasya, for the penance. So as soon as, so that is why now Devahuti, the Kardama Muni, he left home. And similarly, the son, after discharging his duty towards his mother, also left. Is the son of Kardama Muni is Kapila Dev. So there is a book we have, it is ISKCON, written by Srila Prabhupada, the transcendental teachings of Lord Kapila Dev. So he was giving a lot of instruction on the Bhakti Yoga. So he enlightened his mother. So she could also have left home, but she did not. Rather, she remained at home and began to practice the Bhakti Yoga. So women is always allowed to live under the protection of the home. She is not supposed to leave the family and take the sannyas. So this is the sense control for the women. And as we say, what is chastity? Sorry, there is a spelling mistake here. So what is the chastity? So as per what Anushka Mataji said, as per what we think, chastity is just being loyal to one particular person. That's what we think. But Srimad Bhagavatam talks little more about chastity. Our Vedic scriptures says that chastity means to render the service to the husband, to be always favorably disposed towards the husband. So a woman should always serve her husband very nicely, and she should be favorably disposed towards the husband, and to be equally well disposed towards the husband's relatives and friends, and to follow the vows of the husband. So these are the four principles that has to be followed by a chaste woman. So not only to her husband, but also to her husband's relatives. They are supposed to, a woman is supposed to render the service. So, and follows the vows of the husband. So, for example, here, Kapila Dev was following a severe oath, and Devahuti was giving support to her husband. She did not tell him, you know, you got married to me. How can you just do the austerity and how can you not take care of me at all? So for very, very long time, Devahuti was serving Kapila Dev. Once when Kapila Dev just saw the condition of Devahuti, he really got, sympathy and pity looking at her. And then he asked her what she wanted. And then Devahuti expressed her desire to have the child. But until that point, Devahuti was only sincerely serving her husband. She did not do anything that will be not favorable for her husband. And even the story of Anusuya, she was married to, and Anusuya is the daughter of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. So they had 8 daughters. So they, Anusuya, and she was also known for her chastity, that her husband was standing in one leg and doing the penance, and she also joined along with him, and she also did the meditation along with him in the one leg. Even her chastity is very, very known. I think some of you must have known the story of Anusuya. Are you aware of that?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Would you like to narrate that story, Mataji?
Not really. Like when she is married to Atri Rishi.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
and Bhagwan, and then Shankar Bhagwan and Brahma Dev and Vishnu Dev came to
Mhm.
means check means like
Check on her chastity.
yes, Mataji.
Mhm.
Then because of the meditation, because of her meditation and her power, that all the three means
Mhm.
all the Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesha
Yeah.
wants.
Now, what conditions? See, it so happened that Parvati, Lakshmi, and Saraswati, they got little jealous seeing the chastity of Anushya. So they requested their husband to go down and to challenge the chastity. Although they were not ready to, but because of heavy push by the wives, they could not do anything. So they had to descend to the earth, and they came in the form of three sages. And Anusuya received them because if the sages are coming, it is the responsibility of a householder to receive them. And what condition they put on her? That she has to come without, she has to serve them undressed. So what
Yes,
did Anusuya did? Anusuya made them as a
child.
4-month-old child and she fed them. So, and then later on, they three became her children themselves. So, this
Yes,
is how the chastity of the women is being seen. So, it is very important for the peaceful householder life that a woman follow the vow of the husband. Any disagreement with the husband's vow will disrupt the family's life. What happens today? We see that there is lot of disagreement which a woman have with the husband. So when there is so many disagreement, what happens to the family? Do they stay together?
It gets shattered.
Yeah, it gets shattered. So in this regard, Chanakya Pandita, he gives a very valuable instruction. Dambatyo kalo nashti tatra shri swayam agata. When there is no fights between the husband and wife, the goddess of fortune automatically comes to home. So it is very important for the householder to have a very peaceful life. And husband and wife, it's not nice for them to fight and to argue with each other. In such a house, who lives there? Goddess of fortune. She
Misfortune.
automatically comes in the home. So in those homes where the husband and wife, they are fighting with each other constantly, there is only inauspiciousness in that home. A women's education should be conducted along the lines indicated these verses. So how should a woman be educated? She should be educated to become just a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, or she should be also educated on how to lead a household life. So this kind of education is really lacking today.
Important.
That's why we are seeing that there is so much of disruption in the family. So the basic principle for a chaste woman is to be always favorably disposed towards her husband. In Bhagavad Gita, we saw that Srishu Drishtashu Varshena Jayate Varna Shankara. If a women are polluted, then there will be Varna Shankara population. Varna Shankara in modern times, Varna Shankara or the hippies who do not follow the regulative injections. So whom do we say as Varna Shankara population? They do not follow any Vedic injunctions. They just lead the life whatever they think is correct. There are certain Vedic injections, there are certain samskaras and everything that a person is supposed to follow. But Varna Shankara population, what do? Today we see that men and women, they don't even want to get married. Yes, they didn't want to get married, but many of them choose to live with each other, live in relation. Is that correct? That is not
Mm.
correct, isn't it? And some of them, they get married and they don't even want to have children. So what is the purpose of the marriage? What is the purpose?
To have Krishna conscious children.
Yeah, to have a child. So if they are just getting married for their own gratification, then that is also called as, and whatever the children that are born out of these things who are not following the proper tradition, the children who are born because of the illicit relations and other thing, they are called as Varna Shankara. The Varnashrama system scientifically divides the society into 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas. We saw in the previous class. This is a scientific division of the society. There are 4 Varnas, Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, and Shudra, and there are 4 Ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa Ashrama. But in Varnashankara society, there is no such distinction. We cannot really distinguish who is following which ashram, who is in which social order. Is it possible today for us to really to distinguish that, Matajis? Can we today say that who is following what ashram? After 50, 60 years, one is supposed to detach from the family life. But do we see that today the general population, are they trying to get detached? Are they visiting the holy places? Are they leading the life to understand who they are? Are they leading towards self-realization?
No.
No, we don't see proper brahmacharya is complete celibacy. Absolutely, there is no scope of any men and women to mix with each other at all. But today we see in our society, small children who are like 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, we see them just going in pairs. Are we not seeing that?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
where is
Mataji.
the division present? Where is the ashram present? Where is the division present? There is absolutely no division. So in such a society, no one can distinguish between a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, and a Shudra. So for peace and happiness in the material world, a Varnashrama institution must be introduced. The symptoms of one's activities must be defined and one must be educated accordingly. So this Varnashrama system, it helps us to live according to our gunas. So it is not that you're Kshatriya or you're Brahmana or you're a Vaishya according to your birth. What did Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Chaturvarnam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagasha. These 4 divisions are based on your guna and karma, not based on your janma.
Religion.
Krishna would have said Janma Karma. No, he did not say as Janma. So you might be born in a Brahmana family, but your activities is not inclined with the characteristic of a Brahmana, then you are not a Brahmana, then you are
Brahmana.
a Dvija Bandhu. You're not this one, you're against the Brahmana, you're just a friend of Brahmana, but you're not even a Brahmana. So according to that, so just by following your own gunas and by following your activities, one can lead a very peaceful life. Today, people are supposed to study whatever can give them a job. And what is happening with that? See, in some period of time, we feel that the IT field is providing more job. And after 4-5 years, we see that there is a little bit of downtrend. So all the people who are preparing for that and who are not even having any inclination towards that field, they are studying. In the end, they don't even get the job. Then what will happen to them? Are they happy? Why are we seeing so many counselors, so many psychiatrists, so many psychologists in today's world? Are we not seeing that they are shooting up like mushrooms? Isn't it?
Yes.
Because people are not happy, because we are not following the Varnashrama system. So Varnashrama system helps us in the gradual purification. One can lead the life. There is some amount of sense gratification which is allowed in the Grahastha ashram, but that is within the family, not outside the husband and wife. So everything is given, but one has to lead a peaceful life. Varnashrama system is very important for the society to have a peaceful life. The symptom of one's activity must be defined and one must be educated accordingly. The spiritual advancement will be automatically possible. So in such cases, we see that a spiritual advancement will come. And sometimes we see that a woman try to be superior to the men. And generally, whenever a woman tries to be superior to the men, does that marriage last?
Does not.
Does not last. So here I was listening to one of the class by His Holiness Damodar Maharaj. So he was citing an example in Nigeria. he had one of the devotee who came to him, and she said that she is going to buy a bus, but her husband was not in a very good position. He was not having a good job or good money. So he advised her, not to get, rather you discuss with your husband and you both mutually decide on what you can do with whatever the money you have, rather than you buying the bus, and it will not help you. But she said, why I cannot buy the bus? I'm going to buy the bus. There's nothing wrong about it. I have money and I'm going to buy that. And she bought the bus. And what happened within 3 months? There was divorce. And after few more months, the bus is also gone and the marriage is also gone. So both were gone. So a woman is always supposed to lead a life which is not very superior to the husband. Let's take an example of Gandhari. She married a blind husband. Because of that, what did she do? She blindfolded herself. Why she blindfolded herself? Because she thought that if she has a vision to see, she may become proud and she may think she is greater than her husband. So with that, what will happen to the family? But Gandhari was known for her chastity. Even though she was the wife of Dhritarashtra, who did not have a very good qualities, but by she remaining chaste, she developed so much of supernatural power. When Gandhari opened her cloth and when she saw Duryodhan, what happened to Duryodhan's body? Became as strong as steel. You have heard this pastime from Mahabharata?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so this was because of, how did she develop that power? Because of her chastity.
Chastity.
Yeah, so that chastity is very important. It makes the women with supernatural powers for her. And what other qualities are expected out of a chaste woman? She is being modest and truthful, controlling her senses and speaking in sweet words. A chaste woman should engage in the service of her husband with love according to time and circumstances. So these are some of the characteristics which are expected out of the chaste woman. So this particular part of Bhagavatam is under the perfect society of the four social class. So in that particularly 3-4 verses are dedicated on the chastity of the women. A chaste woman should not be greedy, but satisfied in all circumstances. She should learn to live within the means that is provided by her husband. Like what happened to Devahuti? From the living in the skyscraper, she lived in a hermitage, in a just a kutir in a jungle. So, and she remained satisfied under all the conditions. So a woman should not be greedy. Whatever is her husband's capacity, she should learn to live within that. And she must be very expert in handling the household affairs and should be fully conversant with the religious principles so that she can take care of her children. So a house today, what happens if a woman is not working today? What is she being considered? They say that a
Housewife.
woman is not working to her potential.
Yeah.
She's just not using whatever the skills that she had. She's just not using it properly. But that is the most biggest seva she's doing for the family. A woman staying in the home and handling the household affairs, taking care of the husband and taking care of the husband's family and taking care of the children is considered to be highly respected in the Vedic culture. And today the same thing is considered
It's
what?
not respected. It's not respected.
It's not,
She's
they
not
think
respected.
that a woman is going, if a woman is sitting in the home, she is useless.
Useless.
She has no capacity and she is a loser. That's why she's sitting in the home, because she has no capacity or no skills to face the world. But this is what being expected out of the chaste woman. Okay. So how nice is it, our Vedic scriptures, isn't it, Mataji?
Yeah,
Very
yes,
nice,
Satish.
beautifully it has been given how a woman should be today, because we are not following the Shastras, we are not following the Vedic culture. Everything became topsy-turvy. Today there is a lot of intermixing of the men and women, especially in the corporate jobs. There is a free mixing of men and women, because of which what is happening today? There are many divorces happening. So even in this purport, it is written that a woman should serve the husband who is not fallen. Suppose a woman, by her whatever the reason, if she gets married to a husband who is not following the regulative principle, who is a drunken and who is not having a proper character, in that case she is not expected to serve her husband. She can get separated from her husband, but she is not expected to get remarried. She can get separated, but she is not expected to get This is what our Vedic culture says, that how a woman should be and chastity of a woman. So we saw that not only was Mother Sita powerful, but any woman who follows in the footsteps of Mother Sita can also become similarly powerful. There are many instances of this in the history of the Vedic literature. Whenever we find a description of ideal chaste women, Mother Sita is amongst them. We always take her example of Mother Sita on her chastity, correct?
Yes, certainly,
Mandodari,
yes.
the wife of Ravana, who was also very chaste. She was a wife of Rakshasa, but still she remained very chaste. And because of her chastity, when Ravana left his body, Mandodari was very much aware about the difference between the body and the soul. She was already having Atma Gyan. How she developed that Atma Gyan? Because of her
Chastity.
Chastity.
chastity. So that is why, even though she was a wife of a Rakshasa, still she was having a very good knowledge on all these things, because she was a very chaste woman. As a man must follow the great personalities like Brahma and Narada, a woman must follow the path of such ideal women as Sita, Mandodari, and Draupadi. By staying chaste and faithful to her husband, a woman enriches herself with supernatural power. So, what kind of power she gets? A supernatural power. So, in this regard of chastity, there is another pastime which is mentioned in, I think there is some disturbance in one of the thing. Please mute yourself. 1 second. Okay, Mataji. Is it visible the screen now? Okay, so
Yes,
this
sir.
is a pastime from Chaitanya Charitamrita in the Antya Leela. This is mentioned. So there was a woman of a Brahmana who was suffering from leprosy, and she was, in spite of his condition, she was serving him very nicely. And it so happened that this man who was suffering from leprosy, in spite of his very pitiable condition, he developed an attraction to unite with one of the prostitute. And the wife understood the intention of the husband, so she went to that prostitute and she requested her to serve her husband. The prostitute denied. She said, your husband is suffering from leprosy. How can I even go close to him? I cannot do that. But she was very, very particular that her husband should be served. So, what she did is she became her maid servant. So, for 1 month, every day she was serving this prostitute. She went to her home and she took care of all her needs. So at the end of the month, this prostitute, she became very pleased because of her service, and she asked her what she can do for her. And this Brahmana woman, she asked her to serve her husband. So she agreed, because this lady was really so chaste and she was so faithful. So she agreed to serve him. So she goes back to her home and she brings her husband. He is not even in a situation to walk. She carries her husband all the way towards the house of the prostitute. So while she was carrying him, the mind of this leper Brahmana changed. He thought that, how chaste is his wife that she is doing such a thing for him. So he decided not to unite with that prostitute anymore. His mind got transformed on because of the chastity of his wife. So on the way back, while she was bringing him, it so happened that his leg hit the Maitreya Muni, who was undergoing severe tapasya. And because his leg hit him, Maitreya Muni's tapasya got disrupted. And when the sages tapasya gets disrupted, how they become? What will happen to them?
They
श्राप
will
देते हैं.
curse.
They get
Curse.
very angry and they will curse because they
Curse.
are doing penance for very, very long time. Once the penance get disrupted, they need to restart it again. Correct? So because to come to that stage, it takes a lot of time. So he used the curse. He cursed him that he will die as soon as the sun rises, he will die. But this woman, because of her chastity, she developed such a supernatural power that she spoke to sun god. She counteracted him and said that if you think that I am chaste and my entire life was dedicated only to my husband, and I did not think of any other man in my life, and I served him properly and I took good care of him, then you should not raise. She ordered the sun that the sun should not rise. And now, what can the sun god do? She is a chaste woman. And if he rises, then her truthfulness is being not appreciated, right? She's so truthful. Her chastity should be honored. So the sun god was not ready to rise, and everybody, Devatas, got very disturbed because the sun was not rising in proper time. And then Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, they came personally and they told her that, you please let the sun rise and as soon as your husband passes away, we will bring her back to life. So in that way, because it is coming from the god themselves, so she agreed for this, and he was brought back to the life. So you can see that how powerful a chaste woman can be from the examples of Mother Sita, from Draupadi, from Mandodari, from this Brahmana's wife. Chaste woman can definitely attract a lot of power for herself. So it is just not individually, yes, she's becoming supernatural. How does it helps the community also? Because she has a chaste woman, so what kind of children she gets?
The upbringing of the children also is, so she brings a good.
She brings up the children so nicely. So because she brings up the children so nicely, there are good children in the society, so that can transform the entire society as well. So that will bring the peace and prosperity in the society. Like if we are just seeing our own ages, like when we were doing our schools and colleges, and now we are comparing to our children who are doing the schools and colleges, there is a lot of difference in which the entire thing is happening. Is it not, Mataji? How we were used to be, previously, even the co-education schools were very less. It was either the boys' school or it was the girls' school. There were less co-education schools. But today, the schools have also become co-ed. Yes, it has become co-ed, but do you think in spite of that, there is no intermixing of girls and boys happening? It is very much happening. Wherever you go out, you see that the girls and the boys today, they are very much polluted. Even when I go to the temple or for the service on Thursdays, I see most of the youngsters are coming as only pairs. And one of the girl was asking me, Mataji, I don't know what it happens. Every time I come to the temple, my relationship gets broken. Whenever I visit Rasa Bihari, my relationship broken. So, they are openly talking about it, and they're not even feeling shameful for, being mixing themselves with so many men. And what happens to her mental health? What happens to her physical health? And after she loses all her chastity and everything, she's having the child. Generally, we are all in the material world because we have the propensity to enjoy. We wanted to enjoy separate from Krishna. That is why we are all in the material world. Otherwise, Krishna says, Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are all the eternal part and parcel of Krishna. Manashishrani Indriyani, because of uncontrolled senses and mind, we are suffering. And such children who are born because of this unwanted progeny, they are more and more in sense enjoyment. Their only goal of life is for enjoyment. Today we see the children whenever they go out. 90% of the children are always having headphones or earphones with them. What do they do with that? And we are sure that they are not hearing to any spiritual discourses or anything. Constantly hearing to some songs, this,
Social.
that, social thing, and their mind is completely corrupted. They get irritated and they get this thing, and the population that is born out of them, it is not going to be very, very nice. So all these things, it is so nice that Arjuna, in spite of being in Dwapara Yuga, he could see all these things happening. How nice of Arjuna that he could see all the things happening. Even Prabhupada, he said that in 1970s, when he was walking in the roads of Bombay, he saw that there was a beggar. He was very disfigured beggar. I mean, he was not at all looking good and disfigured. But his wife was always with him. She was ensuring that she was keeping him very clean and neat. Every few hours, she was ensuring to keep him neat and clean. She did not leave him and go, thinking that what kind of husband I have. So even now, 50 years back, we could see that this chastity and everything was prevalent in India. She was taking care of her husband. He said that she did not leave him in spite of the condition. Husband is not good economically, or husband is not good physically. In no way he is having anything, but he is her husband. So she was ensuring to take care of him. And another example he gave was when Prabhupada said he was going to his friend's home, and it so happened that they both were sitting and chatting in the room, and there was a maid servant who was just waiting there for 10-20 minutes. And he asked her, why is she not coming and doing her work, cleaning and sweeping? He said that because we are two men here, she didn't feel comfortable to come in front of two men and do the work. So even a maid was so chaste. She did not want to bend in front of two men and other things. So we could see that 50 years back also in India, the Vedic culture was prevalent and the women were very chaste. But today we don't see anything like that at all. So the entire education system is only on gratification of the senses, nothing else other than this. Okay, Mataji. So should we take one more sloka, or we will end with this? It will take another 30 minutes to do one more sloka. I would like to also talk about Gaura Purnima, which is up here, which is on 14th of March. So should I take a little bit of time to talk about Gaura Purnima?
Yes, Mataji, Gaurav.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
before I go to that topic, any questions on this particular sloka, on particular thing on about the chastity of women, about how the women gets polluted and how the unwanted progeny is born? Any questions in this particular sloka?
No, so that's only my thought, Mataji, is,
Okay.
we also need to go, the female also needs to go as per how the generation is also moving and how we are going ahead. Now, so of course, there are a lot of things like we have to serve the husband and all of that is there. But the husband, see, previously men were learned, they learned scriptures, they know the
Yeah,
Vedic science,
correct,
so they know everything what is happening outside.
correct.
Now, the more and more, so it has become opposite. Some of the families, if I know Mataji, men are becoming lazy and they don't learn. See that like whatever they don't learn and they become lazy. And if female is working at home, they continue to do all the household work. Plus, if you see in many homes, you see them going to office also and working also, and plus they work at home also because
mm,
they are not able to appoint
mm,
any maid or anything to do
mm.
some other work. So having taking care of the husband and the family. See, in today's world, I'm saying it's case to case basis, home to home
Yeah.
basis,
Yes,
of course.
Mataji, that's what we saw in the Stoka, the Rishabhadev's advice to the son. It is not only for women. Even men are supposed to
Yeah.
live according to the scriptures. It is not that only women, because whenever there is a illicit thing, it is both the men and the women are involved. So it is not that we only have to educate the women. We should also educate our sons also.
But
Not
Mataji,
necessarily,
we
yeah.
don't have the children. See, how do we?
Mm,
Now, I'm not exposed to this. Okay, today I'm
mm,
sitting in the class
mm,
and
mm,
I've not learned about Bhagavad Gita in my life.
mm, mm,
Okay,
mm,
until my parents or somebody learn.
mm,
So I think
mm,
something has to start from the beginning. For my son,
mm.
for example, something I should know to teach my son. No,
Yeah,
Mataji.
exactly.
If I don't know anything and if I don't live with my parents or my
Mm,
in-laws, how my children also don't learn at
yeah.
30? They are in a different world
Yeah, that's what
altogether.
Mataji, as we saw that because there are no elders to guide us, so all the samskaras and everything are slowly vanishing.
Education, something, someone small
And main
session in the
problem
school
is,
would help.
Mataji, schools should take care. That's what I was
Yeah.
about to say, that we should introduce our scriptures. And Bhagavad Gita is very secular. It has nothing to do whether whatever isms you follow, these are basic things.
Or these will
This
get
has nothing to do with
missed
anything.
this.
So
Yeah.
both the men and women should be educated. Today they are educated on contraception and other thing. But before that, educate them that you are not supposed to get involved in such relation. Only after marriage you are supposed to get mixed with your husband. So it is not only in India, even in Asian culture. Countries like Japan, men and women previously are not allowed to mix before the marriage. But it is slowly, as we say that the education is there today, the schools are not able to educate, nobody is able to educate. Even there is another pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam. There was a daughter of a king, her name was Sukanya. It so happened that by mistake she pierces the eyes of the Chavana Muni. He was doing tapasya, because of which the ant will grow and his eyes were glowing like a glowworm. So out of curiosity, she put some two sticks on it, and it started oozing out. The blood started, and Chavana Muni gets very angry and he curses. So because of which the king and everybody gets constipated. So the king goes to the Chavana Muni and asks, please let us come out of these conditions. What can we do for you? We apologize for the mistake that is done by my daughter, but please give us some remedy. What can please you? And then he says that he wants his daughter, Sukanya. Chavana Muni is the age of the great grandfather of Sukanya. Sukanya is a small girl. She must be around some 15, 16-year-old girl. Chavana Muni must be like 80s and 90s. He's very old. But because her father has given the word, she married him. Not only married him, and Chavana Muni, not only he was old, he was very irritated. He was so angry all the time. But she was grown up in that culture that she took care of him very nicely and everything. That it so happened that Ashwin Kumaras, they came and they wanted Somarasa in return, and they brought Chavana Muni back to youth, because Chavana Muni also thought that, okay, my wife is serving me so nicely, so he also had a desire to regain the youth. So he did, because he's a Muni, he could attract the Ashwin Kumaras anyway, because they are not allowed to take Somarasa. But Chavana Muni can produce that. So he gave that in exchange. And he was taken a bath along with Ashwin Kumaras. And when the three came out, all the three looked the same. And there also Sukanya, she surrendered to Ashwin Kumara. She said that I'm a chaste woman. I'm really not able to identify who is my husband. So please, you show me who is my husband. I cannot choose because, and then they were very pleased with her chastity. So these are all the, Vedic women. We will see that, whatever condition they are in, they are cute. Yes, today the society is also very disrupted. It is just not the one particular thing. But overall, we can, try to educate
Yeah.
our children, and we can try to educate the school children and other things. So we are taking some efforts now in Bandu area. We are doing preaching in 2 schools. So one of the 8th grade students and another one to the 11th grade students. So whatever within our capacity, some schools who allow us to do that, we are teaching them the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, you're right, Mataji. That's what Prabhupada said. If he is not fallen, the man should also be not fallen. But if a man is very properly doing his scriptures, a woman, just by supporting the man, she can go back to Godhead. Archie, she was a wife of Prithu Maharaj. And when Prithu Maharaj went to the forest, she also went along with him. And by the Prithu Maharaj, his own this thing, he went back to the plane, and another plane was waiting for Archie also. She just supported her husband. She just followed her husband. Just by following her husband, she also attained the liberation. So yes, if the men is good, just a woman by supporting the men, she can also get the highest destination because she's serving him. A woman, by just serving a properly educated men, she obtains a very good thing. But we also saw the case of this Brahmana woman, the leper, in spite of his condition, but how she served him with chaste, because of which she could even give orders to the sun. So overall, Mataji, today, even the girls are not very tolerant at all. They think in terms of feminism, in terms of this. We don't work thinking our own position. We just, in the name of equality and everything. But usually it is a woman who is in a very bad condition. That's what when an interviewer was talking with Prabhupada, from US, and she was saying that in India, the women are subsided and everything. Because this was when Prabhupada 50 years back. He said that a woman always lived with dignity in India. 50 years back, Mataji, did you hear divorce, Mataji? You wouldn't have heard. There's no word called divorce at all at that time. So he was telling that even if she is a wife of a beggar, she lived with a dignity. But what happens to you? You unite with the men, and that man leaves you. You have a child. Either you kill the child, or you raise the child yourself as a single mother. So where is your independence? Where is your this thing? So what Prabhupada asked is very good. But in India, whatever condition, even if she is in a poverty condition, she is living with dignity. In the Vedic culture, women always lived with dignity. She is most respected for what she is. But today, the entire role of the women is being top-seated. Women is also asked today, men and women both have to work. Yes, but who will take care of the child? On top of it, we have so many things, social media, mobiles, laptops, everything. What can you do? Even recently in Australia, they put a ban for the children less than 16 years to use the social media. Because even they are finding that, this is disrupting the child's growth. This is causing them frustration and depression. Yeah, although the accounts don't allow you Facebook or anything, but they give the fake age and they have their accounts. My daughter, who is just 10 years old, she says, Mama, my friends have a Facebook account. My friends have. Why don't I have? She asked. I said, you're not old enough. Is it, Mataji? Can we understand?
We are trying to follow the Western culture, but we already have all these
Yeah,
treasure.
that's what Srimad Bhagavatam is, the complete Vedic encyclopedia. When you read Srimad
And we have this
Bhagavatam,
treasure,
your
but we
education
follow
is
the
complete. Yeah, your education is complete. So this is what at least I am trying to do with my daughter. I am doing Srimad Bhagavatam with her. We don't do so much, at least 3-4 slokas a day we do. We have already done almost 5 chapters. At least slowly, I thought it is my responsibility to educate my children with the scriptures. Then what happens? Everyone has their own independence. Krishna has given the minute independence to all. We cannot breach, but at least we will educate. If it enters, it entered. If it is not entered, we cannot do anything about it, Mataji. But at least we should educate. That's what I feel. They should have that basic education on all these things. Both men and women should have a basic education that, you cannot mix with the boys, with the women before your marriage, and girl, before your thing and
Correct.
how you should conduct. That's why, Mataji, earlier, Prabhupada was glorifying the Balya Vivaha, the child marriage, because when the girl, even before her puberty, she is getting married. She doesn't live with the husband until then. She lives with her parents, but the husband comes with the family and she is taught to serve him. They make something and they go to serve him. And in her mind, right from that age, it is fixed that this person is her husband. So she cannot think about any other men in her life. So both of them are fixed, and then at a particular age, they live together. But, by doing such, as I said, the families were more peaceful. I remember my grandmother and all, they got married when they were 12, 13 years. That's all. And in our grandmother's age and all, we never saw people arguing with each other or people fighting with each other. Did we hear, Mataji? The society was more peaceful. If you see in the morning in the house, Vishnu Sahasranamam used to go. Everybody used to offer boga to the deities. Everybody was only taking prashadam. People were not eating outside. Isn't everything was so well beautifully managed, and the society was more peaceful. More than that, the society was more peaceful and happy. But today, with the advancement of technology and everything, we see the society is more and more disrupted, more and more problems, and less happiness in the people. Thank you for your realizations, Mataji. Anybody else has anything, any realizations or anything to talk about this?
Ma'am, it's my first session.
Yes,
So can I
Prabhuji.
just go with the flow, or do I need to uh, do anything else? I can
No,
just
I
attend.
can send the previous recording of the classes because we are in the first chapter. We are in the last divisions. So we have already covered till sloka number 38. So there are recorded sessions. So if you're interested to catch up, you can do that. So today particular topic was more about destruction of family tradition and pollution of the women and everything. So we went little
Got it.
deeper on this topic to understand why it is very important for the society to have women who
Got
is
it.
chaste and men who is also aware about the scriptures and everything. So this is important for both the population. So by which we can
Yes.
have a peaceful society. And Arjuna could understand this. 5,000 years back, Arjuna could understand this. Their
Okay.
society will slowly get degraded. So
Okay.
can see that. And we have scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, which goes more elaborate on this. Whatever the explanation that I went was from Srimad Bhagavatam, which talks about the chastity. So Bhagavad-gita is more like an initial book on the ABCD of the scriptures. So the deeper knowledge of our scriptures are present in Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, where everything is given more in detail. So these two scriptures can help us to lead a happy and peaceful life and to go back home, back to Godhead. Because the purpose of human life is this ahara nidra bayamaituna, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, samanya metam pashubi naranam. It is the same for humans and animals. Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho. It is a dharma that differentiates the humans from animals. Dharmena hina pashubi narana. Without dharma, we are two-legged animals. That's what Ita Upanishad says. So where do you know the dharma? Dharmo hi sakshat bhagavad pranita. Dharma is given by the Lord himself, like the state laws. These laws are proposed by the country, by the parliament. So we follow the law. As long as we follow the laws, we are living as the legal citizens. And we are entitled for whatever we are given to. If we are not following the laws, then what will happen to us? Maybe we have to be behind the bars. We may not be allowed to do many things. We might be ceased in doing our activities because you're going against the laws. If a company is doing some activity illegally, if the government comes to know what they will do, they will seal the company. They cannot run the company anymore. So similarly, for a human being, the dharma is given in the scriptures. So if we do not follow the scriptures and we just lead the life, whatever our mind says, then what happens? We have repeated birth and death. We get transmigrated into different bodies. And we are continuously in the path of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. But by taking the shelter of the scriptures, we can come out of these permanent problems. And we are recognized by Krishna himself. And then we can lead a peaceful life being here also, because you're dharmic, you're not doing anything wrong. Sun God himself could not come up because of the chastity of the women. And the Vishnu, Brahma, Vishnu, they have to come and, plead the women to please let the sun god come. So we can understand, because she followed her dharma. So when you follow the dharma, everything happens favorably to us. But when we don't follow the dharma, then things also will not happen, because we are not basically following the laws. Even there is a law of conduct for Manu Samhita, how a man should be there. But Prabhuji, there are so many scriptures. Today, it is not possible for us to read all the scriptures, but Prabhupada, in the Kali Yuga especially, 2 scriptures are good enough for our enlightenment. Only is Bhagavad-gita, another is Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, which is a Vedic encyclopedia. So by reading these 2 scriptures, one can attain the perfection in the life. So we are introducing in a deeper explanation, so that when you are hearing and when you read, it can help you in both the ways. Okay, Prabhuji, I hope you found the class today to be useful.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Correct.
Anybody else have anything? Anushka Mataji, Meera Mataji, Shilpa Mataji?
Mataji, you told the story of that lepratic person and that Mataji.
Yeah.
May I know the name of them?
Name of the?
Name of the Mataji who had married the lepratic person.
No, it is actually in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is only given a Brahmana. Once there was a Brahmana, a leper Brahmana who had the wife. The name is not mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Okay, it is just mentioned that there was a Brahmana who was a leper and he had a wife who was faithfully serving.
Yes, okay.
So maybe I will try to send that verse and the purport. You can just read through that. But as it is, there is no such name mentioned there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Maybe some other book might have it, because I also saw that this story appeared in Markandeya Purana and other thing also.
Actually,
I will try to look in
this
that.
yes, Mata. Actually, I saw this in a like a short movies. Is that no?
Yeah, okay. Maybe in some other Puranas, the name is mentioned, but in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is only mentioned as a Brahmana and the leper, the reference that I took it. But maybe if you go to other Puranas, we can know the names.
Okay, okay.
Because I also saw that it is mentioned in Markandeya Purana also, because Markandeya Rishi was involved in this, right? So it is mentioned in that also.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Especially very important, for women, for the girls. By knowing the scriptures, you can really lead a very peaceful and happy life.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
Mataji.
Mataji. When I was small, my father used to tell these short stories while sleeping.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, that is the culture that you received from your family. That's what I'm saying. If the family is cultured, if they are following, then they can pass on to the children.
yes,
So you're fortunate to have such cultured family. So
yes,
you
yes.
could receive that, and you're getting more now.
Yes,
So this is what happens. So that is why the society should be educated with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. If these 2 scriptures are being done, we are reading so many books today, but all those books are just useless. Even in terms of the jobs or anything, Mataji, we are all reading so many books. If you're in your actual working space, how much of things that you studied, you're using it in your job, unless otherwise you're a teacher?
yes, it's totally different. Like,
And we are wasting the day and the night, everything just reading that, which is totally useless. But instead, if we are getting educated with the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, imagine the society. That's what Prabhupada said. Every respectable person should have Srimad Bhagavatam in the society. Every respectable person. If you're not having these scriptures, then you're not even a respectable person. You are spending so many things to buy so many things for your home, but you cannot have the scripture at your home. Then how can you be called so-called respected person? Everything is there in Srimad Bhagavatam for our living. Yes, Bhagavad Gita, it's an introduction, but Bhagavatam has everything in detail. A deeper study of everything is there in Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran. Okay, Mataji. So, Anushka Mataji, you have anything to share or to ask? Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes,
So,
Mataji.
as you mentioned that the women has a subordinate position to the husband and she adapts to
It is
his.
better if she has that. Because men in general, psychologically, men are providers. They feel happiness in being providing for the family.
Okay.
So it is better to understand that and be little this thing. See, ultimately, if a woman is serving the man properly, she will be in the highest position in the man's life.
Right.
See, I know some of the men, he is very, very educated. But his wife is just educated to 9th or 10th. She's not even greatly educated. But she takes care of the home and the family so nicely. If you happen to speak to him, not a single conversation will go without he appreciating his wife. Although he is in a very senior position in the corporate and everything, but with each and every person he meets, he doesn't stop without glorifying his wife. Very respectable to his wife.
Mhm.
So when a woman is serving the husband very nicely, and definitely she is in a much higher position in the society and in everything.
Correct. Yes.
But when she shows herself superior, then what happens? It's a psychological nature, right? Men and women are made differently, right?
Right.
We are not made in the same way. Men are always, they are providers. So in my own personal life, I could see the thing. Before I came into Krishna consciousness, I always thought, why I have to give up my job, why I have to do like this. But now, being a housewife and taking care of the children and doing my bhakti, I feel much happier than those days where I was working.
Right.
Yeah. And the husband is also happy because while he is traveling around, while he is doing the work, he knows that the house is being managed properly.
Mhm.
The mother is taking care of her children properly. She's taking care of the household affairs properly. This gives more peace and happiness in the family than you proving I am earning more than you or you're earning more than me, you're talented or you're more talented. That is not going to bring peace. Today we see that people don't even want to get married because they are afraid that the marriage will lead to divorce.
Right.
I know one of my neighbor, he's a very, very nicely educated. He's from IIT Kharagpur or something. And he's also holding a very, some vice president in some company and earning very good. He doesn't want to get married because he thinks that after marriage, what happens, it gets divorced and the wife takes away all the money and go.
Right. Yes.
Today, they sue the men in such a way, women.
Correct.
We saw recently there was an incident of suicide by a man in Delhi.
Yes.
He asked for 60 lakhs and something, and he could not even pay for it, and he died. He committed suicide. So men
Yes.
are also, they are afraid to get married also today because they do not know how long it lasts, no?
Correct.
So, but who brought this society? This is all the Western disrupted society because of the lack of our culture, because of lack of reading. Even if one has read the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, one will know what is the purpose of the life. Forget about the next 17 chapters. Isn't it, Mataji? Just reading 39th, 40th sloka of Bhagavad Gita, you can understand how we should live.
Yes.
Not even all the 700 slokas. But we are totally blind. In name of secularism, we don't want to read our scriptures or anything.
Yes.
That is the problem. And as Uma Mataji also said, not only that, today, even if women like us, if they are not knowing the scriptures, what education you can give to your children?
Right.
I know like some of the families, they only open their puja room, they clean the puja room once a year. for Diwali for the Lakshmi Puja. Otherwise, the puja room is just kept as it is. So what kind of civilization is it? How will the children learn to surrender to God? How will they know? They will not know anything. They just wake up, they eat something, they go to school, they come, they watch something. That's all. Absolutely no God consciousness at all today in our society. At least we have to cultivate the habit. At least my children, before, as soon as they bath, they are supposed to go to the puja room. They have to recite few slokas and offer flowers. This is a everyday ritual that they have to do. There is no other this thing. They have been doing it for quite some years. At least this much they should be taught, no, Mataji?
Yes.
Otherwise, it's not possible, the society. So, any other questions, Mataji?
No,
So,
Mataji.
is it anyway hurting saying that the women is considered to be not to be superior because we are anyway?
No, not at all.
Not at all, right?
Not at all.
Yeah. Because we just have to act in our own position. That's all.
See, we
But,
just celebrate womanhood.
Yeah.
But womanhood, we are not understanding what is
What
our
is the
role.
womanhood? Exactly. That's what I want to
We
say. What
just
is...
want to Western कैसा हम लोग भी womanhood में, but we are
No,
anyway
that is
respected
because
very well.
Western culture is materialistic culture, no, Mataji. So they wanted to just
Yeah.
tell few more things. Women means a woman should get gift. Father's Day, mother should get. It's just a consumerism, nothing
I
else.
don't know.
I love you, mama. I love you, papa. So only one day in a year you're supposed to
Yeah,
love your
yeah, I'm a
parents.
mother only for one day,
One day
father
you're
only
not
for one
doing
day.
what happened to the next 364 days. You don't have to love your mother. Only one day of the year you need to love your mother.
So somebody was wishing me womanhood, happy Women's Day. I said every day I'm happy only and
Women
women.
only, na? Why
I'm
only
woman
one
also, happy
particular
also.
day? Exactly. Exactly. That's
So,
what I'm saying. This
and
happy
what role
women
we
day.
are playing also is important.
Yeah,
So
because
we
it's
should
all
be more
the
read.
Western culture, they want to, it's based on materialism and consumerism. So the more they bring these days, they can sell more and more stuffs. It's just that's all. It has no relevance to anything at all today. We have proper culture in our own thing. We have Raksha
Yeah.
Bandhan for brother and the sister. We have Vivaha ceremony for the husband and the wife. We have Sashti Purti. We have all the thing. We have very good ceremonies which are very spiritual. They are not anything material. If you think our own tradition and culture, nothing you see material. Everything is spiritual. All our samskaras are very much purifying. But these things, they degrade you. Even St. Valentine's Day, he died for some other purpose. And what came out is totally different. Everything. As the society has become so degraded, so many reels people watch one after another, and their mind gets empty. Today, they don't even have a little bit of, knowledge. You talk to them, they can't even take anything at all today. That's a very pitiable condition. Unless otherwise we start to the children at a particular age today, like within 10 or something, we can't do anything to our children today. That's also the fact. And there is a ripples also, Mataji. Like when we went to this college, the junior college, it so happened that, when they saw that some of their friends were ready to learn Bhagavad Gita, ready to receive, so the moment they started raising the hands, the others also started raising the hands. So if you see, in the society, some of them are changing, then the others will also come forward to change. So we should not think, I am a very small person, what change I do will make. Every change can make, every, bubble can cause repercussions that can further develop. So like you're all hearing, you may talk to your friends or you may talk to your relatives. They may talk. So slowly, the society changes. And today I could say if Krishna conscious movement is not there, if Prabhupada would have not brought in, the society would have been in a much bad situation today. Because of him, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is still there among few people and that culture. Otherwise, what will be our society? I am considering my own position where I would have been, I don't know, without Prabhupada's books and without everything. So We are very grateful for him, Prabhupada, who has given us the scriptures in a way that we can connect to our current world. How Prabhupada's purport are connecting. Even when he says that the women, here a particular places, he says that both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. We see that it is not that Prabhupada is talking bad about women. He is concerned about the women. He is not talking bad, you're inferior and do, but out of concern, he is talking that, there should be protection. And this is, Mataji, only for those women, who are not following the scriptures and other things. But a Krishna conscious woman is not considered to be in that level because she is on a spiritual platform. She is not in any way in a lower level or anything. So in a spiritual platform, every soul is the same. There's no difference. But in a material platform, there is a difference. So he is writing this out of concern, not just, putting down the women. Some people who do not know, they think, what is this author? He is putting down the women. So I'm not going to read this and just close the book and go. It can so happen, no, Mataji. Their ego can affect. But how do we take it up? That's very important. So just I will take 5 minutes more. Gaura Purnima is approaching on March 14th. It is the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Sri Krishna himself who appeared in the form of a devotee, because Krishna said in Bhagavadgita, Sarvadharman Parityacha Map Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Masuja. You surrender to me and I will get rid of all your sinful reactions. But how to surrender? To practically show that what is this method of surrender, he appeared himself in the form of a devotee. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself who appeared as Bhakta Avatar in the bhav of Radharani. So in the previous classes, if you remember, we spoke about Lord Chaitanya, some internal and external reasons. Maybe I will post that recording again in the class. Maybe some of you can watch just to recollect, to know who is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is Mahabadanyaya, Namo Mahabadanyaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya, Namne Gauradvishe Namaha. So he is the most merciful incarnation, who is giving Krishna to everybody, whether somebody is eligible or not eligible, doesn't matter. So it is like a treasure box, which is just kept in your living room that anybody can take. So he's distributing the treasure of the Krishna Prem very liberally, not knowing who is eligible or who is not eligible. So, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's vision was that Prithvi che Ache Nagara Adi Grama. Each and every town should have the Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So he introduced this Sankirtan movement, chanting of the holy names of the Lord Krishna, and so that we can get ourselves purified and go back to Krishna. So what we do on this particular day, on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day, which is also called Gaura Purnima. So this particular day, we fast till the moonrise. So moonrise is, you can check the phone, whatever, maybe around 5:30 or 6, whatever. It's not like Karwa Chauth that you have to see the moon and then only take something. You just have to wait till the moonrise. That's it. Okay, if your phone, if you're browsing through, if it says that the moonrise is 5:30, so you can take something. But we don't take grains. We only take some non-grains. So if possible, you can fast without water till 5:30. But if it is not possible, the weather is very bad, you can take with water. And if you're not able to do with water, then you can do with some fruits like that. So you can do the fasting as per the way in which your body can cooperate. And breaking the fast is also just taking some Ekadashi Prashadam, some non-grain Prashadam, like taking some Sabudhana or some Sama or some Kheer, something which is, favorable for the Vrata. You're not taking grain. So any fasting that we break after the, noon in the evening is always breaking with the non-grains. So if you're breaking the fast by afternoon, then you can take grains. But those fasting that you break in the evening or so on, it's always that you break with the non-grains only. We don't
Non-grains.
take grains. So only the following day we are supposed to take the grains. Like Ekadashi, the following day we break it with the grains. Janmashtami till 12 o'clock we fast, and after 12 we accept only some non-grains. We don't take grains like that. So this is a very powerful day. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very merciful, and he has given the Krishna Prem to us very easily. So there are certain, prayers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has written Shishtashtakam, and there are 108 names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and one can increase the rounds of chanting. And it's good thing is it's a holy day, it's a holiday. So we have the privilege of being at home than working in the office. So make use of your time, chant as many rounds as possible. And you can chant the Shishtashtakam and chant the 108 names of Lord Chaitanya. And ISKCON Juhu, we have a program throughout the day on the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya. Right from Mangalarti at 4:30 till the evening 9 o'clock, there is a constant kirtan, bhajans and everything going on. I will also share the details of those programs in our group. So if there is an opportunity to go to temple, so please do that, because visiting temples also helps us a lot. Yes, we are hearing in online. Some of us are sincere. Some of you are able to connect in the online and take it. But also visiting the temple and associating with the devotees at least once in a month. That helps a lot for our spiritual advancement. For those who live in Mahendra, we have some associations here, but those who are living outside that, so you can try to, go to temple at least once a month and get some association. See, take the darshan of the Lord, because he is Archa Vigraha. He is present himself. The form of the Lord is not different from he is. He is literally present there. So it will be very much helpful for our advancement in the spiritual life, because what is the ultimate goal of our life?
To reach the Godhead.
To go back home, back to Godhead. So such festivals helps us to go to make the process easy, because you get a lot of strength, spiritual strength, by following such fast like Ekadashi Vrata and like Gaura Purnima, like whatever the important days where we are supposed to do the fasting. By following that, we get some spiritual credits which will help us to advance spiritually. Okay, I hope you're all chanting your rounds properly.
Ji Mataji.
Okay, is reading also happening? Some reading happening? Swadhyaya is also very important. I've been mentioning. Happening. Shilpa Mataji, are you reading?
No, Mataji, I still didn't start that. I'll start soon because I was busy in some home activities. Like
Okay, okay.
I didn't get the time. I have to get up early in the morning when I used to go.
Okay, Mataji. You're
Start
working
soon,
now?
Mataji. No, Mataji, I went for the Sit puja. I was there in Pune.
Okay, okay.
Outdoor puja, so I have to
Okay.
go.
Okay, no problem. Please do some reading.
Yes,
Meera
yes.
Mataji,
Slowly I'll start
everybody.
soon.
Yeah, reading is very important for our spiritual advancement. It also helps in our chanting and other things. So wish you all a very happy Gaura
Slowly I'll
Purnima.
start soon.
I will share the class that we spoke about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu previously during our introduction session. So you can try to listen to that again to understand who is Lord Chaitanya. Okay.
Yes, Mataji, sure.
Okay. We will do the Narsimha prayers.
Ji Mataji.
Anushka Mataji, would you like to do the Narsimha prayers?
Yes, Mataji.
One second, I'm just looking for the. Yeah. Is it visible now?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, please. Saraswati.
भगवान की जय। नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
Namaste
Narasimhaya.
आदलाद
Adaladaini.
हिरण्यकशिपु वक्षः
हिरण्यकाशी पूर्वशकात्
कानखालाय
शीलटङ्कानकालाये
तो नरसिंहा पर तो नरसिंहा
इतो
नरसिंहा
नरसिंहा
परतो
परतो
नरसिंहा
यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहा
यतो यतो
यतो
यामि ततो
ततो
नरसिंहा
नरसिंहा
बहिर्नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा
भगीरथसीमा हृदये
हृदये
नरसिंहा
नरसिंहा
नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे
नरसिंहमदिं शरणं
प्रपदे
प्रपद्ये
वकरकमलहरे नखां अद्भुतशृङ्गा दलिता हिरण्यकशिपूतनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे
तव
करकमलवरे
करकमलकमद्भुतशृङ्गा दलित हिरण्यकशिपु
हिरण्यकशिपु
तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय
जय
जगदीश
जगदीश
हरे
हरे
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय
जय नरसिंहदेव
नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
नरसिंहदेव
जय प्रहलाद
प्रहलाद
महाराज
महाराज
जय
जय
प्रहलाद
प्रहलाद
महाराज
महाराज
जय
जय
प्रहलाद
प्रहलाद
महाराज
महाराज
जय
जय
प्रहलाद
प्रहलाद महाराज
जय जय
जय जय प्रभु
प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद
जय
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 प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद
जय गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव
भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंह भगवान की
जय
भक्ति शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्रील
जय
प्रभुपाद की
जय
वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा
रूपस्य
सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पाविनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो
नमो
नमः
नमः
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव
कोटि
वृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय भगवद गीता as it is की जय हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्ण
thank you
माता जी
all for joining
थैंक
and
यू माता
wish
जी
you all a very happy Gaura Purnima. I hope you really take good advantage of such festivals and
Mataji, I'm having birthday on that same day.
oh, that's very nice. So, okay, good. I
Okay.
hope you are okay to fast then.
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Okay, fine. Maybe it's so your same day as the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How fortunate you are. This time you are celebrating on the same day as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Yeah,
Yes, Mataji.
that's really very nice. So you will have
I'm
an
feeling so happy for
additional
that.
mercy. So we'll pray for you specially on this day.
Yes, Mataji. Well, I'll try to visit ISKCON on that day.
Yeah, it would be nice if you can visit. No, it's very nice. Festival days are really very nice, to go to the temple and to have darshan and everything. So, and I think the trains are also quite empty that day. People are very scared. But is it really very dangerous to go out on a holy day, Mataji?
Yes, my mom, Mataji means all over the colors and water. Some people are not means when they'll spill purposely like.
Okay.
Some people are very crazy माता जी so
Maybe we
they
have to
takes
take a surrender to Gauranga and go saying that please give us protection.
Yes,
I think that's the best way to go for
yes,
us to
yes.
give protection. If I mean, you can do. If you can go by private vehicle, okay. But if it is far off, then I think he will give us protection. Don't
Yes,
worry.
ma'am. No, if I'll go there, I'll be catching the train earlier. So it will not will get a
Yeah,
problem.
correct, correct. You can do that. Yes, because there's a festivity throughout the day.
Yes, yes, Mataji.
So
Hare Krishna,
yeah,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Like this.